Okay, so we have started in Unit 2 about proportional relationships. Okay, so if you'll go ahead and write this down, these are your notes for today. So today we're going to talk about proportional relationships in tables. Proportional relationships are relationships between two variables where their ratios are equivalent. This is the same thing as saying one variable is always a constant value times the other. Okay? Next, when we're talking about relationships in tables, we have two requirements. One, all ratios must be equivalent. And in case you're confused or can't remember what equivalent is, that means they're equal and the same. And the multiplier must be the same. So when we say multiplier, that is talking about what we're multiplying or dividing across the whole table. Okay, so the steps to find out if a table is proportional. 1, divide each y value by the corresponding x value. 2, remember, all ratios must be the same. Okay. I will give you about 2 minutes to write the notes, and we'll move on to our 2 examples for today. Okay, so if I look at my examples, I have 2 tables, example 1 and example 2. Okay, so my first step said I need to divide the x values by the y values, okay? So in this case, I have a horizontal table. It's horizontal because I'm reading from left to right. So this is what we call a horizontal table. Read from left to right. Okay, so that's what makes it horizontal. So when you have a horizontal table, in this case, cats are your x values, and then dogs are your y values. Okay? So that's important when it determines what type of table you have, okay? It's always the same. The top row is always the x values. The bottom row is always the y values. Okay, so if I look back, remember, it says I have to divide my y values by the corresponding x value. Okay, so that's my steps to determine if it's proportional. So I do that for each one. So here are my y values. and here are my X values. Okay? So if I look at my first one, 3, my next one, 6, my next one, 9, and my next one, 12. Okay, for my Y values, the corresponding value, X value that corresponds with my Y value of 3 is 2. So I will put a 2 here. The corresponding X value to my Y value of 6 is 4. The corresponding X value to my corresponding value Y value is 6. And the corresponding X value to 12 is 8. Okay, so those are my ratios. Well, Miss A, they don't look like they're the same. Well, I can figure out if they are. Okay, so I can do this 2 ways. Miss A is going to use the calculator, so she's going to take a shortcut. So if I type in my calculator, because remember, now I have a fraction or a ratio, and that means the fraction lines means I can divide, okay? So I can say 3 divided by 2 gives me 1.5, okay? I can say 6 divided by 4 gives me 1.5. I can say 9 divided by 6 gives me 1.5. Then I can also say 12 divided by 8 gives me 1.5. Okay, so my second step said all the ratios have to be equivalent. Well, in this case, are they? The answer should be yes. I got 1.5 for everything. So this graph is proportional. Okay, so this graph is proportional because all of my ratios were the same. Okay, this graph is proportional. All of my ratios are the same. Okay, example 2. Now I have a vertical table. Okay, I'll look at it and read it from top to bottom. Okay, so in this particular table, when you have a vertical table, your X values are what you read first. So in this case, it says shape and perimeter. My X values are based off the shape, and my Y values are based off of the perimeter. Okay? So here, my Y values 4, 6, 8, 12, 16. My X values 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. If I go ahead and set up my proportions on my ratios, four is my Y value. 6 is a Y value. 8 is a Y value. 12 is a Y value. And 16 is a Y value. If I do my corresponding values, 4 corresponds with 1. 6 corresponds with 2. 8 corresponds with 3. 12 corresponds with 4. And 16 corresponds with 5. Okay. So I'm gonna do my math and draw my arrows here. The way I wrote it on the paper, I didn't leave much space, which is why I'm not gonna go to the side. So again, I can use my calculator. 4 divided by 1 is equal to 4. So I'm gonna write a 4 here. My next one is 6 over 2. 6 divided by 3. Oops. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 8 and 3 are my next one. 8 divided by 3 gives me 2.67. 12 divided by 4, which was my next one, is 3. And last but not least, 16 divided by 5 is 3.2. Well, remember my next step said all my ratios have to be equivalent. Well, if I do the math, are all of these numbers along this line after I make sure I reduce my ratios equivalent? No. So because they're not, the table is not proportional. The table is not proportional, okay? The table is not proportional. Okay, these are all our notes for today. If you need more help, reach out to me. You should come to live class if you miss live class, because we do more fun and exciting activities and examples. Also, don't forget to post your notes that you took before we did the 2 examples onto your class notes for your classwork grade for today and to complete the homework assignment for this lesson.